Hi, I had to do a quick video here because, well, I think it's mandatory because if you don't know, I use Twitter. I've been using it for almost since I started the blog, I think. So at least 11, maybe 12 years now, something like that. Can't remember when I joined, but yeah, it was pretty early on. And I've got over 50,000 followers on Twitter. It's where I don't know, just dump random thoughts and comments and ask questions and share stuff. And like I was just editing a video right now, for example. I'm using DaVinci Resolve and I couldn't figure out my render wouldn't work and I couldn't figure out why, so I did a screen capture, put it on Twitter. Somebody figured it out for me in why it wasn't working in under a minute. It's like that instant feedback thing, which is so great about Twitter. But, of course, Twitter does have its downsides, which, we can discuss down in the comments down below. But anyway, I like it. It's good fun. If you can handle it, that is. Anyway, a boss-level move of the decade, potentially boss-level financial move. Elon Musk, just like an hour ago, just basically started a hostile takeover of Twitter. He formally offered, here's my tweet here, he just formally offered to buy all Twitter shares at 54.20% per share, a 54% premium over the closing price. Anyway, here's his tweet an hour ago. It's just, I made an offer, and we can go through and we can read the Securities and Exchange Commission's thing which he put in. It is a formal offer. It's not just, hey, I'm going to buy it. It is actually a formal thing, and here it is. And of course, if you don't know, Elon just a couple of weeks back actually bought I think it was 9.1% or 9 point something percent stake in Twitter, and he sort of hinted at this, I guess, and he was also hinting at starting a competitor and stuff like that, because I won't go through all the history of it, but he's been tweeting a lot lately about the getting the town square back on Twitter, so to speak. It's essential for a functioning democracy and all this sort of stuff, and he's a free speech absolutist, whereas the current CEO of Twitter is basically anti free speech, and they're polar opposites. And Elon Musk thinks it's so important for, as the voice of the people, the public town square. And he was talking about starting up a competitor and all sorts of things, but pretty much out of the blue, he suddenly bought just over 9% of Twitter, making him the largest shareholder by far, the largest individual largest shareholder, period, and the largest individual shareholder, even more than Jack, who only has 2%. Or something like that. So, that put him in a very powerful position, so much so that the Twitter CEO offered him a seat on the board, but with the stipulation that he's not to own any more than 15% of Twitter, and this is around about that number, and they would have carefully chosen that number so that he wouldn't have the voting power required to make changes if they didn't want to. So Elon thought about it and just went, nah, as we say here in Australia. And what was that? That was a week ago, 5 days ago, something like that. And now, an hour ago, he came out and he put in a formal proposal to buy all outstanding shares of Twitter. And I actually predicted this. Here's a tweet. When did I do this? March 30th. Hear me out. Elon Musk gets a $32 billion loan to buy Twitter. Turns out he needs a bit more than that because the share price has gone up since he bought the 9%, and he's paying a premium above it. And the market goes nuts and share price skyrockets. He reinstates Trump and everyone else banned. Share price skyrockets again. He repays a huge chunk of the loan. He still controls Twitter, and we get the town square back. Now, whether or not you like Elon Musk, whether or not you like the whole town square thing, whether or not you like people getting banned on Twitter, it doesn't matter. Discuss, rage in the comments down below. But I'm a bit of a free speech absolutist myself, and I think this is a good thing. I don't think these people should have been banned. And of course, Twitter leans a certain direction, and if you say anything against the narrative, being on Twitter is like having a sword of Damocles hanging over your neck. Every tweet you make, you risk, against the terms and conditions, how they deem it. And, somebody reports you and boom, your Twitter account's gone just like that. I've got over 50,000 followers on Twitter, and yeah, it's like very easy to get banned. Or as Elon pointed out the other day, he listed the top 10 people on Twitter, and they basically don't tweet. And he said, well, is Twitter dead? He was pretty much the only one in the top 10 list who tweets at all, because all your big name people, your celebrities, they're too scared to say anything on Twitter now because they might get cancelled. So such is, cancel culture, and or you might get actually deleted from Twitter because of their certain leanings in some direction. But anyway, this is a boss level moves. So anyway, let's have a quick look at the filing, shall we? There's lots of boring stuff in here. Elon Musk here. He's currently got 73 million voting power and stuff like that. Currently owns 9.1%. And the purpose of the transaction is a non-binding proposal to acquire all of the outstanding common stock of the issuer not owned by the reporting person, which is Elon, for an all-cash consideration, valuing whether or not he's actually getting a loan for this thing. Who knows? Because I don't know if he's actually got the cash to do this himself, wherever he borrowed it, or because most of his wealth's actually tied up in Tesla shares and whatnot. So anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's an all-cash offer, $54.20 per share, which is a 54% premium over the closing price on January 28th. The trading day before the reporting person began investing, and a 38% premium over the closing price of the common stock on April 1st, the trading day before the reporting person's investment in the issuer was publicly announced. I love April 1st, that's cool. The proposal is non-binding. Once structured and agreed upon, would be conditioned upon, among other things, the receipt of any required governmental approvals. I can't see why. I don't know. If you're a business expert, leave it in the comments down below. Market expert. Would there be any government regulations in the way of doing this? I can't imagine there are, but I also can imagine that a lot of people with power might not like this. So yeah, they might try, they might pull out all the stops to try and stop this, but can they? I don't know. There can be no assurance that a definitive agreement because it's not like he's a foreign entity or something like that. So it's just an individual with enough cash to do it, and he wants to take the company private. And I don't know if there's regulations, but if you do know, leave it down below. Looks like, Morgan Stanley is the financial advisor. That's interesting. There's lots of blah, blah, blah. Letter of agreement between Twitter Inc. and the reporting person. That could be interesting. The company and Elon Musk hereby agree appointment of Mr. Musk as a director, and it's practical. Yeah, this is the board of, this is his offer to join the board. And company securities, Mr. Musk agrees that for so long as Mr. Musk is serving on the board and 90 days thereafter, he will not, either alone or as a member of group, become the beneficial owner of more than 14.9% of the company, as I mentioned before, because I'm sure they've done the numbers on this about the board makeup, who's going to support him and voting power and all this sort of stuff, and they figured that they're going to come a gutser if they let him buy more than 15%. And Elon, he got his 9%, and then he's been talking to the board. Obviously, they offered him a board seat, so they've all been chatting behind the scenes, and he's just gone, they're not going to do what I want. And we'll read the letter from him, short letter, shortly. Anyway, there you go. There's Parag, who's shaking in his boots. And you can just see his tweet here. I'm excited to share that we are appointing Elon Musk to our board. Through conversations with Elon in recent weeks, it became clear to us that he would bring great value to our board. He's both a passionate believer and intense critic of the service, which is exactly what we need on Twitter and in the boardroom to make us stronger in the long term. Welcome, Elon. That is just so great. You can just see his hands trembling as he's typing this and the sweat rolling down his face. Obviously, they do not agree. Anyway, let's go down here and look. Here is a juicy bit. To Brent Taylor, chairman of the board, I invested in Twitter as I believe in its potential to be the platform for free speech around the globe, and I believe free speech is a societal imperative for a functioning democracy. However, since making my investment, I now realize the company will neither thrive nor serve this societal imperative in its current form. Twitter needs to be transformed as a private company. So as I said before, clearly he thought, maybe if I buy in, I might be able to convince the board. And of course, Jack's on the board, and recently he's tweeted some regret about the way that Twitter's gone and stuff like that. So I don't think he might be on Elon's side, but still, he obviously realized that he didn't have enough power to make the changes that he wanted. So, and if he went on the signed to be on the board, then there's no way they'd just tie his hands up forever, and he wouldn't be able to do anything. So he went, yeah, nah, I'm not bugger that. I'm just going to do a hostile takeover and buy the lot. As a result, I am offering to buy 100% of Twitter for $54.20 per share in cash. My offer is my best and final offer, and if it is not accepted, I would need to reconsider my position as a shareholder. To me, that basically means, you read between the lines there, he's saying, well, if I don't get this, I'm probably just there's no point me owning these shares, so I'm going to sell them all, and the share price would absolutely tank. And I guess that's a kind of a threat to do that, I guess, if he doesn't. So this is like a serious boss level move. Have you seen like an individual? Sure, there's been takeovers of companies, hostile takeovers of companies and stuff like that, but it's usually like large investment firms or other companies, things like this. Have you ever seen like an individual do this? I don't know. Leave it in the comments down below. I'd love to know if there's any other, history where this has been done. I'm sure there is, but offhand, I can't think of any. But yeah, this is a huge boss level move. It's basically, I'm going to get my way, or I assume he'd sell all his shares, then he'd start up a competitor, like straight away. So yeah, wow. So this is just huge, absolutely huge. Twitter has extraordinary potential. I will unlock it as a private company. He's going to buy it all up. He's going to and take it private. So personally, I think this is probably a good move, because I don't like the direction that Twitter's been going. It's my major platform that I use to just, speak about stuff daily and, interact with people and stuff like that. I'm always, you ask me to copy me on Twitter for a question or something like that. I'm usually there to answer it and stuff like that. But always, if I say something people don't like, there's and like I could breach the terms and conditions of any time of Twitter. And yeah, there's heaps of people on who got banned from Twitter, and I don't agree with it. Even though I don't agree with the people and what they said and, the way they say it and stuff like that, I think it's gone seriously too far. Obviously, there needs to be, some limits there. Inciting violence and all, there's a couple of pretty much what most people would agree on that limits. But it's just gone too far. And well, I for one welcome our new Twitter overlord. Leave your thoughts and comments down below. This is good, right? Yeah, go for it. I'll just let the comment section go wild. Catch you next time.